away from my Carolina home. Had dreams about the West and started to roam. 6 long months on a dust-covered trail. They say heaven's at the end, but so far it's been hell. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. We were digging and shifting 5 to 5, selling everything we found just to stay alive. Gold flowed free like the whiskey in the bars. Sinning was the big thing, Lord, and Satan was a star. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And blood lined the streets. Men were shot down for the sake of having fun, or just to hear the noise of their 44 guns. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Now my widow, she weeps by my grave. Tears flow free for her man couldn't save. Shot down in cold blood by a gun that carried fame, all for the useless and no good, worthless claim. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there.
Hey, 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 YouTubers and friends, how are all of you doing tonight? I hope you're having a great night. Um, Boy, I was over at Digging with DJ's live stream earlier talking about some of those badass women of the Civil War era, whatever. But tonight we have Dustin with us, Dutch Boy Adventures. He's also the co-host with Lost Boys Adventures Sundays evenings, 7:30, I believe it is, Eastern Time. They put on a pretty good show. So hopefully Dustin has some really good stories. Hopefully he has some really good treasure porn. And all of you are here, so how can we go on wrong? So let's go on and get this party started. Man, my lips just don't want to work right. Doggone it. Be right back. Hey, YouTubers and friends, thanks for joining us for another episode of Tuesday Night Hangout Live with Toledo Jess, Dano, and I.
Process here, keeping my ink flowing.
Take that long.
Yeah, it's moving the ink around.
How are you guys doing tonight?
All right, how about you?
Could be worse, could be better.
Well,
Dano?
I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background.
What?
That's my printer. Oh, it's done.
I'm sure
It's
you.
a sublimation printer, so you can't turn them off. You have to leave them on, and every once in a while it has to move the ink in the tubes. So he's got these little rollers that go back and forth along the tubes to move the ink, because you can't turn this thing off while it's got ink in it.
I'll take a stack of 20s.
What was that?
I'll take a stack of 20s.
Oh, yeah, I will too.
They always check 20s, so make them 1s and 5s.
Right.
They ain't worth nothing anyway.
Radio.
Yeah, like you can really buy anything with that.
You were early. Unpaved Explorer, how you doing? Randy Scotty Tony?
RST, or is it IGGS now?
Oh, it could be IGGS, you know.
IGGS, what's up? The old mine with Lars. Welcome.
Welcome. Nailed it detecting. How are you doing, Chad? Nicole from Ohio Metal Maven. I had the privilege of being out on the field and detecting with those two, along with Rach from Jersey Ray Diggs last weekend, I think it was. During Labor Day weekend.
Right. GPU, what's up?
Hey, Jeff. Good to see you. Everybody, I want to see a bunch of new subscribers on Dutch Boy's channel. If you're not yet subscribed to Dustin's channel, hit him up. He's a really good guy. Not too bad, Chad. Not too bad. Could be worse, could be better. Been cutting a lot of concrete and laying concrete at work. JP Lonzamore, Jessica, good to see you again.
Hi, Jessica. Did you say hi to the world's greatest moderator, Jared?
Not yet. Hello, Mr.
Jared.
Lurdak.
I said hi to him, but he didn't come back on yet. He must be on another channel getting it primed.
Fostering Treasures in Michigan. Good to see you again. Mandy Brown. Hello.
Thank you, Indiana.
Radio was on time tonight. Was he a little early? Did I see him in a little early
Well,
tonight?
you saw him during the pre-show countdown, so
God.
good
Just
job.
because you're early don't mean you get any of the money back you owe us already.
No.
Yeah, right.
Those are still being sent out to you, Ronald, for the previous tardiness.
What do you want?
Best
Okay, there you go.
Don
Now,
G,
go
how
on.
you doing?
Out.
Roman with Ringo. How you doing, Ringo? Very good. That's right, Team PG5.
Hurry back. Bring two.
Damon, killing it on the sniping, buddy.
What's up, Damon?
big gold.
Guidos.
And Guidos.
You know, watching In Between Nurses and Doctors. Well, you're in our thoughts and prayers, Jessica. Don't let them poke you too much.
Squirrels, magnet fishing, and outdoors. Welcome.
Now, I don't think we'll see our chat room comedian. I believe Ohio Relic Hunter is back home in Washington at this moment.
Oh, really?
That lucky SOB.
We will miss his smart ass remarks.
That we will. We'll definitely miss his smart ass remarks because he always has a ton of them.
Will we?
Jesse tried to choke him when he met him, so yeah.
Yeah.
Will we miss his smart ass remarks? I don't know.
How are you doing? It's nice to meet you, Bill.
Something like that. And the dude's like about a foot taller than me, so
You had to reach up to get him.
I had to reach up really high. So yeah, like I was saying, I'll be heading to Texas here in November. Gonna be down there for 3 weeks.
Nice.
Look up with somebody down there, do some metal detecting.
Find some of those amadites or whatever.
Well, if I can get in contact with Jason.
Yeah, it'd be cool if you could hook up with Diamond Miner Ivan.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would if he's not busy.
Yeah, but I think in October he's up at the crater.
It could be. Crater's
October he's
just
up at the crater.
not far away, I don't believe.
No, it's not that far of a drive. But yeah, anywhere, hell, it takes you an hour to get out of Houston.
Yeah.
So anything out of Houston is going to be a 2-hour minimum drive.
I think he lives by Texas. It's on the border.
Oh, he lives on the border, Texarkana in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's not that far.
Mama Kitty says hi, everybody. Shut up, cat.
That's Mama Kitty for you.
If it wasn't Lucky, now it's Mama Kitty. Gee whiz.
Right.
You take lessons from your oldest boy, Mama Cat? Gee whiz.
BB gun, send her flying.
Yeah. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else going on? Anything else going on with you guys? We should bring Dustin in then, huh?
working on trying to get home, raise enough money to pay my bills, and go see my mom. If it happens, it happens, Lord willing. So,
Yep. Brad Welch, welcome.
g'day, mate. How you doing down under? Hope you're having a good morning, Brad. Along with all our other Aussie friends that may be in the house.
Yep. I saw somebody else in here earlier.
And you never know. I have a sneaky suspicion I'll be getting. We'll have a little sneak in from my granddaughter, so we'll see. We'll see.
Sneak in? She just barges in. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
She'll
she
sneak
just
in over.
lifts up my curtain
She
and
just
comes on.
walks in.
Well, usually she stands between the
Oh.
black and the green one and kind of
Right.
hovers until I'm like, get in here.
Did you say hi to JP Lonzamore? I see he's in the house.
Yeah.
No, I did.
Thomas Pennyweight Folks, he was on
Yep.
Treasure
Thomas.
Vortex last night with Gypsy and Amanda Degas.
Right.
They're going to be at the Midwest Silver Shootout the weekend of the 24th, I believe. I was wanting to go to that, but hopefully, God willing, I'll be in Washington State. We'll see. Bacchus, how you doing?
Bacchus. Fostering treasures in Michigan. Welcome.
Kids need to get ready for bed, that's for sure, fostering.
Oh, yes. School's back. And here in Toledo, check this out. For the longest time, the kids have been riding public transportation.
Yeah.
This year, they got the yellow buses back out.
Hey, Matt, how you doing, Bigfoot Prospecting?
Hey, it works for me because that means they don't get off at the bus stop by the house here no more. I have a gaggle of kids screaming and yelling and acting like
Are
kids.
you the grumpy old man on the block?
Get off my lawn!
Get off my grass!
Get off my block!
You know the kids never obey signs, so put a sign out there that says stay on the grass, and they won't get on it.
No, I'll get the ones that follow directions.
That's okay, fostering. Like I said in DJ's stream, welcome to the Treasure Fam / Flash Fam. Hope to see you around more. Yeah, new guy. A new victim.
Yes.
I hope we corrupt you in the ways of treasure seeking and all the many fingers of the hand. Tonight we'll be featuring a metal detectorist and antiques dealer. So, hey, I know a guy who has some killer antiques. Right there.
That's me.
Right there.
Is that my introduction?
So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome our guest, Dutch Boy Adventures.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
Doing good, Dustin. How are you, man?
You know what? Pretty good. I got out for a little bit today. I didn't really find much, but you know, it's just nice getting out and it's getting cooler out. So that was really nice being able to walk in a field with the sun beating down and it's only like, low 70s. So yeah.
Nice.
So where are you at?
I'm out in Pennsylvania, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg.
Yeah,
I used to drive there.
Ain't that over by east of Chehalis?
I have no idea where it is you're talking about. That's how far away it is. No, we're like, I'm real close to Hershey, and like Hershey Park and all that, and also like Middletown, which is like one of our oldest counties, in the state.
Well, can't you smell Hershey's from in Harrisburg?
Yeah, yep, absolutely, you can.
That's what I thought.
Especially when they do the Reese's Pieces. Oh my goodness, that peanut butter, you're just like,
Reese's.
yeah, oh. But yeah, it'll drive you crazy if you let it. But it's only like certain days of the month that they'll process things that are that strong. It's not every day they smell sweet. But,
Right.
Yeah, a lot of older areas out where I'm at. A lot of Native American stuff went on. A lot of 1700s activity. Even a little bit before that, because like the fur traders were going up and down our river.
Right.
So
So
Hudson Bay Company stuff.
Yep. So yeah, it's a nice area to do a lot of different exploring and getting a great variety of finds and aging. Like you get stuck in some places that have only been around like 150 years or 200 years, and you only end up finding a little bit, but when you open it up to like 300 years, and it gets a little more interesting, and you find more Native American stuff too.
So you metal detector, what do you look for the most? Is there anything that you like to look for? I mean, because you got some people that look for coins, some people look for, treasures. I like looking for gold. Are you specialized in anything, or you just?
I'm
just
chasing.
Pick it off.
Yeah, I'm chasing history. That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'd be happier with a button than a coin, a buckle than a coin. I mean, yeah, it's nice getting coins. And if you do it long enough, they'll accumulate. So I mean, like
Sure.
the people starting out that go, man, I wish I had that many. Well, 10 years from now, you probably will. And just it's such a once again, it's just that variety of stuff that you can pull out of the ground. Like I was at a 1850 cider press the other day, so I couldn't metal detect that because there was, metal every inch of that place, but we dug it, and the stuff I was pulling out, like incredible. I'll even show you guys then. Well, I can show you now. One of the things I pulled out. Let me grab this. So this was a cider press that I guess it worked up until like the early 1900s, and they tore the building down. Well, it actually caught fire. So then you know how they did back in the day, they would just put piles of dirt and cover it up. So we went out, and I actually had the owner, he had an excavator, and he was doing, it was like Oak Island. It's in my last video, and it's called Buckles Bonanza, because I ended up finding like 17 buckles. But this little thing, I found this, it's a vise, and it was completely rusted.
Yikes. Wow.
Well.
And I removed it. Oh. Was that did you guys get to see it good enough? Do you think everyone got to see it? Yeah, okay, forget you.
Yeah, you remember we told you about the delay. Yeah, there you go.
I can't lift my arms anymore. But yeah, like that, I pulled that out, and I was like, what the heck? I couldn't get it to work again because the actual screw gear is too rusted to get. But
Oh, so
it cleaned up beautiful. I mean,
Yeah, they're saying that too in the chat room. Nice restoration.
yeah. And I was going to go later on. I could go into more of the restoration end of it, which is really what I'm starting to get into now. You get to a point where, like, all these years I've been digging iron, throwing in a bucket, throwing in a box. They're at the bottom of my display cases, rusting away. And, you know, I don't have anything against the ugly box and stuff like that, because it does work. I mean, it legitimately works. I mean, it's no joke. But for me, I don't have the time. I can't be there to monitor it. And when you have big iron, it's really a long process. So I'll go over later, if you guys want, my process with the Dremel. So
Sure.
look like you're ready to sneeze. But yeah, that's what I started getting into now, is taking time out to go back to some of my finds and restoring them. And it's been fun and challenging, you know. To see it go from a rusty piece of crap to like that vise, I think it looks beautiful, you know.
Oh yeah, that's a really nice job. So you're getting into restoration of things. Are there things that you don't want to restore? I mean,
There's always things. I mean, you know, I'm not going to clean up a coin, you know.
okay. Well, yeah.
Other than maybe, you know, if it's silver, I can use water and brush it, and if it's copper, I can just brush it, you know. But other than that, like, you know, if you have more sensitive things and things that are kind of worthless too, you know, like, and then you have things that are expensive or worth more, where you don't want to clean that, you know. You could see the
Move it to you. There you
Yeah.
go.
There you go.
Ooh,
There you go.
belt buckle, huh?
Yep, that is a
Is that an eagle on there?
yeah, that is a War of 1812,
Oh,
Pennsylvania,
Oh,
U.S.
look at that.
Yep. And that's something, you saw the dirt in it, you know. I'm not going to touch that, you know. Now, I could lemon juice it and it might come out if there's any gilt left, but I don't think there is looking at it. So I'm good with the green patina.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And so,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, okay. So things like that, you know, no, I'm not going to mess with
Right.
as much. Iron, way easier to play with, you know, way easier to play. Who cares, you know, like, you could
Right.
play. I was out there whacking it with a hammer, and, you know, I felt like the guy forging it.
Trying to break it, get it.
Yeah, you had to get the rust off. But, you know, yeah, there are certain things, and you have to use common sense, you know.
Right.
Like the Dremel, I'm only using that on iron. Now, I did use it on a coin, and it took a roached out coin, a roached out King George, and it brought it to the point where I could then see the bust, and I could see the line, and whatever that lady is with their little what is that staff that she has going one way? You know, I don't know if you guys know what the back of a King George looks like, but anyways, it gave me the outlines. So it did bring out some detail, but I would only say, like, on a roached out coin that you can't see anything on, then you can Dremel it. Other than that, you don't really want to fart with coins too much. Buttons are another sensitive one. You got know a little more about what button you have.
Britannia with the trident.
Yes, thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Rock Butcher.
Yes, thank you. But that, you know, when you get into buttons, you know, when you get into certain older buttons that were spun and stuff like that, you just want to lightly brush them. Now you get, like, believe it or not, if you get a Civil War button, or, you know, like a two-piece button like that, or the double or triple gild buttons, and you want to throw those in a little lemon juice, you really can't go wrong. If there's no gild on it, it won't hurt them at all. but you don't want to leave them in too long because then it'll leave like pit marks and stuff.
Yeah.
So like lemon juice is another process I use on a regular basis to clean stuff. But yeah, that's kind of how I am on most things. If it has some sort of historic value, I'm not going to play with it too much. But like big iron now, yeah, I'm starting to like that. You know,
So
that,
are you using any electrolysis to clean any of that big iron up?
no.
No.
I just dribble it off, and then I have special rust paint that you put on that it stops the rust and it coats
Right.
it. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So-
I mean, like I
So
said,
that vice is not restored to the point where you can use it.
Pardon
no,
me.
the screw that goes the whole way through, that is too rusted. It's too far gone. I couldn't get that. If it weren't for that, I could probably keep it going. You know, I could probably get it to work.
Yeah, some WD-40 and some heat.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could try more, but you know what? I was happy with the way it came out, you know.
Hey, if you're happy with that, then you're good, right?
Yeah. And what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do is take white paint, like a stencil paint, and I'm gonna stencil the letters and numbers on it with the white. So
Yeah.
you'll be so it'll all
Cool.
pop out.
So you mentioned when I was asking you about what if you specialize, and you kind of said that you were into the history.
Yes.
So is that something that you've always been into, is history?
Absolutely.
Even in school and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so now that you're, well, when did you start metal detecting then?
Probably about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I-
So has that piqued your curiosity on history even more since you've been finding history?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
And then-
because I've noticed a lot of metal detectors before they start metal detecting never really were into history, right? And once they got into it, it's like history is the offshoot of metal detecting, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you got Jocelyn, that's what she's looking for history, the Jersey history hunters. I mean, you know, and that's what they're looking for. So I'm always curious whether it's something that they were interested in before in school, and most of them say no, you know. So, well, I didn't care for history at all, you know, but now that I'm metal detecting, so that's cool. And you were into history, and so am I. You know, I've always been into history. You said the War 1812. You know, I'm here in Toledo. A lot of battles were fought around the Great Lakes.
Yep,
You know,
absolutely.
you know.
Yeah, the main piece of like I started 15 years ago. A younger guy that worked for me, he was getting into it, and I went with him a couple times. Didn't really take, and then a few years later, a friend gave me a Ace 250. He had won in a raffle, and he said, "Here, you can have it," you know, because I was saying I was starting to watch videos, you know,
Right.
and I started with that, and then eventually, as it would happen, I got a job as a distribution manager and a general manager of a RC Electric distribution hub, and I had 2 stores there too that they put me in charge of. And so at one point, and this is years later, this is going back just 10 years now,
Mhm.
and I said, hey, I think we should sell metal detectors. So I started selling metal detectors out of the shop for Garrett, and which you don't really sell for Garrett unless you're like really a big volume. You usually go to the place in Jersey. I forget what their name is. They're their shipper. But you know, we did great with that, and it got me into it.
Right.
So I had the equipment now, you know, and I forget. I went on a club hunt in Middletown, and this is where this is going to be a story rounding to this. And we hunted they said it was a Spanish American War camp. And I'm like, I didn't know much about the Span Am War at that point. I hunted it. I liked it, totally enjoyed it. Listened to people, starting to pick up stories, this, that, and the other. Started doing research and ended up for like the next 9 years, I just studied and went chasing after this camp. It compromised this little town in Middletown. And basically in 1898, you guys don't mind me telling the story, do you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Jesse will love you for it.
Okay, so in 1898, there was a Camp Alger and a couple other camps down south. And when we went to war with Spain, the camps that we had already, just by bad luck, started getting a breakout of typhus. And just they had these camps were made for 5,000 troops, and they would bring in 20 more thousand. So people were just dying in extreme dysentery. So they needed to find suitable camps that these guys wouldn't be falling out. And it's a proven fact that more soldiers died during the Spanish-American War in the United States that died overseas. That's a fact. So they went to Middletown, Pennsylvania. They found that there was natural springs and good water and everything they needed to facilitate the troops. So at first it was only supposed to be 10 or 15,000 that they'd bring in. They ended up bringing in close to 40,000, and they had no frigging clue of who was where, why, or what, or how. You know what I mean? They were just spread out everywhere. And it was really amazing to find out, what I wanted to prove was that it wasn't just in one area. And I actually went out and proved that it was in a different township, another little area, another little little borough. So they got to lay claim to this camp too, which, that helps them generating interest and whatnot in their area. So during that course that I found that, by going and finding where the soldiers' huts were, finding their buttons, finding their tension tighteners, finding thousands of shell casings, because they would shoot there too. For target practice, they would hunt. It was funny. The one farmer, I'm sitting down talking to him, showing him what I had found that day, and we're in his kitchen, and he goes, "Oh, I remember my grandfather telling me how they would have to go out back and chase the soldiers out of the chicken coops because they'd always be coming in to steal the eggs or the chickens." And so I was like, wow, that's a great story, from back then.
Right.
And I've actually now, over the last couple of years, have done about half a dozen presentations to different historical societies on this camp itself. And it's fascinating, everything you learn. In the Spanish-American War, they had the Buffalo Soldiers, which were kind of like the elite out of the West. Right. Well, in this camp, they brought in more of the colored troops into this camp and gave them a different section of it. And their goal was to get everybody acclimated to the humid weather so they can ship them off to Cuba, where they thought they'd be fighting longer. But needless to say, Spain didn't last but I think a couple weeks or whatnot, or a month. So just that I spent a lot of time on that, and I'm very happy with what I've done. I found pictures of President McKinley. I don't know where they're at, but President McKinley reviewing the troops on one of the fields. And I have a picture of me in that field looking right at where McKinley would have been looking at me, if I lived back then. And that's just really neat to be able to match stuff up like that. Really neat.
Cool.
But yeah, that's, when I say chasing history, if I go to someone's house to metal detect a house, I mean, I'm chasing the history of the house. Yeah, I'm gonna find coins, I'm gonna find other stuff, but boy, it would be nice, and it's always nice to find little things that person never expected or knew about where they lived. Like I found one token at a place, and it was a car token, and it had 3 different car manufacturers and one was Dodge Brothers, and Dodge Brothers stopped using that name, I think, in like 33.
Yeah.
And so I was able to date that token to no later than 1933. And then the other one, which was Chambliss, which was an old car maker, that was done in like 26. So I knew that this token had to be between, like 1925 and 1933 to match all 3 of them up, So it was just really nice to be able to find that and give that to the owner and show them, here's a piece of the history of your property.
So metal detecting, that your main treasure hunting? Is that something that you do?
I bottle dig.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Dig. As far as bottle dig, I primarily dig in the Northeast, and a good friend of mine, Kerry Land. I go with him mostly, but I have other guys I dig with, like the Cloverdale boys and other groups, and myself. I found my own places. So, but some of the stuff I actually get out of, make sure I hold this up right, that I actually get out of the dumps like this. Yeah, there. That is, can you guys see the date and everything?
Looks like some cut glass though.
That's July of what? 23.
And it ends in 94. Can you see that?
Yeah. 1794.
No, it says patent July 1794 to July 23rd, 1894.
Is that pressed glass?
No, it's a 2-piece. So it's a 2-piece, and it is, it's pressed. And it doesn't have an open panel. But it's from 1894, and it's a poison bottle.
Right.
Because, let me show you. Vapocresylene.
Huh.
I know it's hard, but so that's one, and then there's this. And this one I got maybe 2 months ago.
Oh, nice amber bottle.
Yeah.
Poison
bottle. You got it upside down.
Do I?
I can read upside down, but yeah. That says poison.
Nice old bottle, some air bubbles in there.
Yeah, look at that. So that's kind of like the stuff.
Wonder how many husbands she killed with that.
But like one of the things that's cool is my wife, her dad left us a rental business, and in one of the buildings, which his family actually built from scratch at the turn of the century, they just kept adding on to it. And what they had was, in the front, they used to have a general store, and they have the old can't think of the name, barrister cabinets, okay, with the slide up glass, and you slide it back. And they used to have the whole thing full, but through the years, people taking stuff in and out.
Right.
So when we inherited it, there was like maybe 20 some shelves filled with old goods from the turn of the century up until like the 40s and 50s, still new in boxes. So my wife and I, being that we're antique dealers, we took it upon ourselves to start restoring that general store. And I don't have any pictures of it, which I should.
I love walking in old historic stores.
I have the old Register. In the 30s during the Depression, right next to it in the same building, same separate storefront, they had it was called the Rendezvous, and it was a bar, a speakeasy. And I have the slot machine from that, the big National Mills, like 100-some-pound cast slot machine, and it's a 10-cent slot, which you don't see many 10-cent slots.
Right.
But what I did was all the bottles I have, most of the bottles I have, I took up there. So there's about a 400 bottle collection of stuff I picked up, mostly dug, but because of getting the opportunities with the antiques, I picked up a lot real cheap and real easy all over the country.
Right.
So like I have a lot of hutches and blobs, probably like over 100 of those.
Digging with D says Maple Press Line is Vicksburg's maple rub liquid to put in a humidifier.
Is that what it is? I thought it was a poison one. That's okay.
Yeah, I remember humidifiers that you would pour liquid in them, maple rub.
See, I don't remember that. That's before my time.
Oh, sorry. A little round. There's a round device. Humidifier was black. Had a little spout that come out. You plugged it in, and it steamed, and you poured Vicks in it, maple rub. I think my mom used to use the Vaseline though. She would like just put it around the edge of the opening, and the steam would bring it out.
Oh wow!
For colds and stuff.
Well, the other thing I wanted to kind of share with you guys that I've spent a lot of time on, I'm really proud of, is through metal detecting. We found a spot that was right along the old PA Canal, and a friend of mine, we detected it, the top half where there was like old houses, and there's like one house built in the 70s, but other than that, it's a very old property. So we started detecting over the course of, I don't know, a couple months, and we found a lot of stuff, a lot of silver, like Mercs. I got a couple standing liberties out of there, all kinds of stuff. Well, then I noticed one day in the fall when the foliage was down, I looked over the bank towards the river, and I saw shards of stuff down there. So that sent me on, and this is right after I got really done with the camp, to the point where there's no areas I really have access to anymore to look for camp stuff. So I go down, we came and we dug a couple times, didn't quite figure out the gist of it. Well, this is the 5th year that I've been there now. Yeah, 5th year. And we've pulled out so much stuff here through the research. There was a canal house that sat up on the riverside. They had a bridge that went over the canal to the other side, and then there was like 2 old houses over there. Well, apparently in the 90s, the canal house, it was picked up in an ice storm, and then it was crushed down along the bank and drug off. Well, between that, trash pits from them just throwing their trash out the back window of the canal house, and from people coming down the canal, like either you got your hoagie, who is your canal driver. That's the guy that walks you. That's what they called the kid, the hoagie. That's a story that some people lay claim to, that everyone has a story about hoagies, where that name came from. I actually read in the book that's a term that came from the kid it was usually a younger guy or a kid, and it would be like an older gentleman would captain the actual barge. He'd be on the barge, there'd be another guy in the back, and then there'd be a guy out with the mule or horse walking along the towpath. Generally, because they were young, generally they were young. So with their job, they couldn't stop and eat. So apparently they decided, and they came up with getting bread and then slapping lunch meat and stuff in it, and then eating as they're walking because they can't stop. Hence the name Hoagie. They named him, and that's how the name Hoagie was supposed to have been created. So that's just a little sidebar. I can't swear it. Anyone can look it up. I've looked it up myself. It is in writing, but there's also a million other stories in writing on how the word hoagie came to be. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
You're sticking to it, right?
So on this canal, in doing the research, maps, old pictures from like the 30s, whatever I could find on it, I kind of figured out certain areas I wanted to be at. Like for instance, in the one picture, it showed the steps coming down from the canal house. It said it sat high off the bank. Okay, like kind of like a house on the West Coast would sit on a bank on a cliff. Okay, where it had the long stilts behind it. So there was stairs that came down, and it went, to the ground, and then there was a trail that wrapped around and went down right into like a little lagoon area. And I thought, let me walk that area. So after I found that out, I decided to walk that area, and lo and behold, I might have only been 5 steps into that path where the path used to be. It isn't there anymore. And I found this. Dang it. You guys see that cameo?
Ooh.
Oh, I love cameos. Oh, is that rose quartz?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
What is it? What's the figure? Is it a woman? Yeah, it's a woman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure I got it straight.
Yeah, it's not showing up too well through the plastic there though.
I know. Hold on.
I love cameos. Cameos are always cool. Now I was
Those floating
gonna say, how'd that pick that up?
are-
But there's a metal bezel.
those floating displays are really cool though. You can pick them up at We Dig Metal Detecting. I have an affiliate link down in the description.
There she is. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So that was straight up research, looking at old picture out of a book of all things. I
Yeah.
found a book, and I just followed that where that little path would have been. Boom, and that was like the first thing I found. And I found a couple other little trinket things.
Is that signed or anything? Is it?
No.
No.
But like that's some of the stuff you find at the canal that from the people that live there.
Right.
Hey, look at this lady.
Hey, let me stop you for a second. Say hi to some people that just come into the chat room. Acknowledge you're there. Jefferson State Gold. How you doing tonight? Of course, Deej. Otis Ferris. What's up, buddy?
Otis.
Who else did I see?
Jefferson.
Hey,
Lost
Robbie.
Boys Recovery. Jefferson State Gold. What's up?
Is Lost Boys
Mainly dirt fishing.
Yeah, Andy's in here. Andy!
Oh, that's my buddy. You know what?
Rachel. Hi, Rachel.
What a good buddy.
Actually, Andy was the first one to chat in the room like earlier this afternoon. He gave you a big data boy.
Yeah.
I'm spoiled. I got 2 good friends to dig with, 3 actually, and I'm spoiled because they're all good guys, and Andy's one of them. But anyways, if I can,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge our people that come in the chat room just now. Let them know we see you.
getting back to that canal house, there was so much history. One day I went fishing there with another buddy. We're out there fishing. I'm not getting anything. And I come back and I'm walking through where all the shards are. And every time it rains, it kicks something else out. Now at this point, I haven't really started digging there like in force yet. You know, I've done little things like find things like from the map and all that.
Right.
And you know, little things like that. But we're getting ready to start digging in force. But this one hot day, I'm fishing, I'm not getting anything. I end up going back to the bank. I'm walking around, and that is when I found this buckle, okay, that I showed you earlier.
Right.
And that was halfway sticking out of the sand like that, out of the sandy dirt. That's what I saw as I'm walking, just this part here. And I walk over and I thought it was a kid's toy, you know, and I start digging it out and I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's not Civil War. I don't see the pluribus or any of that, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, So I go on one of those Facebook ID me things, and I was lucky. A guy actually ID'd it, gave me the catalog number out of the buckle book and all that good stuff. And I actually had that. It's in American Digger magazine. In one of the issues from like, I think 2 years ago, I got that in there.
And mainly jerk fishes says, Dutchie, we love you. Heart,
Oh,
hearts and more hearts.
It's definitely met some very good people with the metal detecting. I really have. I like I said, I truly feel blessed about that.
That's one of the things that we talk about here, that we're treasure hunters, we're gold prospectors, metal detectors, bottle dump diggers. But the one thing that is really common to this is the number of good people you run into, the number of great people that want to hang out and have a good time, like graveyard prospecting. What's up? So like Dano says, the gold is in the friendships you make when we go out prospecting, and the actual gold is just extra. So yeah, great community.
The one thing that my videos and my channel are different is that when I'm making these videos, I'm trying to bring people out to experience the experience.
Right. Absolutely.
I try to show all the good finds. I don't show a lot of the bummers. But I try to give a lot of scenery shots, a lot of feeling on how I feel at that moment. Like, if it's just crazy hot, I'm ready to die, but I try to take them on a journey with me so that they could feel like they went there too.
Right.
So it's not always like, it's funny when I look at my YouTube demographics, like there's a cutoff, like at like 35, I think, like 35 under, they're not having me, for some reason, I must be too slow speed for them. But everyone from that point up, they love me, I guess, but at least they tolerate me. But the younger crowd now, they don't want nothing to do with me. I guess I'm just not flashy enough for them. But you meet some really incredible people.
It's hard to get the younger generations to get involved in something like us old geezers like doing, but it's not impossible. It gets done all the time. Look with mainly dirt fishing. With the giveaways for kids and stuff.
Yeah.
It's we push trying to get people involved, kids involved with what we do, because that's the future of this. As Ed says, lifestyle. I say hobby. Whatever it is to you, right? It's something we need to keep push it on the younger generation, get them off the
Yeah,
couch
absolutely.
and just into the mud and the creeks and the fields and stuff, you know. Get them off their phones.
The one thing I tell everyone is the way I feel when I'm out there, I feel like it's a race against time. Every day I feel like we're losing more and more ground to development, even though there's empty warehouses everywhere.
Yeah.
Not where I'm at, they're still just. My wife and I drove past the spot, had a beautiful hill, beautiful farm fields and everything. They took the whole field down. I mean, the whole hill down, chopped it in half. And then now they're putting up we saw the first big wall of like some sort of massive warehouse. And it's like, but you know what I mean? Like they're everywhere. There's
Right.
empty warehouses.
And there's empty malls all over the country.
Right,
You know?
right. But
empty shopping centers everywhere.
I feel like all of us, we should, if we all embrace that it's a race against time, then maybe there'd be less of that like little infighting and some of the stuff we do see in this little hobby of ours.
Yeah.
Because
You
really,
know,
that's where it's at.
It's hard to do that when you have people involved.
If we could all only be dogs.
Yeah. Hell, even cats, because my cat and dog get along better than most people.
I wanted to show you guys another thing with the canal, and this is once my canal buddy and my main digging partner, his name is Frank, and one thing that I think I'm going to soak this too. Actually, when I'm done, I'm going to soak it in lemon juice. But my father, who had passed, he started on the Pennsylvania Railroad as an engineer. And so we knew that there were train lines around. Okay. And I don't know why, but we kept finding, like, I think we found some seals that were PRR seals, Pennsylvania Railroad seals, like to a bag or a mail bag.
Right.
And then one day we're digging, and I was having a really melancholy day, like just really thinking about my dad. It had only been like a year or two before. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, plops this big brass PRR, Pennsylvania Railroad button.
Cool.
And with the shank intact. And I'll tell you, when I found that, I cried. I mean, you know, I'm not even ashamed to say it. I cried just thinking about, you know, my dad, and that was the part of the railroad he hired on. You know, after that, through the unions and everything else, they changed the name of that railroad a gazillion times. But yeah, that was the finds. I mean, it's I can't even explain how incredible it is. You know, like probably found like 20 or 30 mercs, and, you know, but that meant the most to me, even beyond the buckle, beyond all the silver. And I even found a KG there. So it was like I couldn't get the whole date, but a 1700s King George coin I found there. So they had stuff going on there. Oh, clay pipes. I even found a whole clay pipe there. So, and in about
I was going to ask you, did you find a whole one?
Yeah, where did I put that thing?
So that button, is that off of like a conductor's button or off his code, or?
I think so. I do.
Yeah. Does that look like a fancier type button, more of a button that you would put on a nicer coat, as opposed to, like, you know, some overalls or something?
Oh yeah, this is a nicer one. Yeah. Yeah, like when I looked at it just now, I haven't looked at it in a while, and I think I see some gilt in it, so I'm gonna try to get some of that out.
Cool.
Yeah, here is.
It just seemed like a fancy button to be, you know, for right. You know, that would, for someone. Oh yeah,
that's really cool.
And then Frank and I found pieces and parts to hundreds of them,
Right.
This place, as we did more and more research and we dug deeper and deeper and deeper into the hill, all we did was basically, if the hill went like this, we came in and just went straight down and sheared like one piece of it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a fancy pipe.
Like
I'm looking at YouTube, and I should be looking at it.
But yeah,
I was watching chat.
the deeper we went, and then the oyster shells started coming out. And then we started finding Native American stuff. I have an
I was
arrow.
gonna say, once you start finding oyster shells, you're down into the Native American era before, because that's
Yeah. I was on the top of the hill off the towpath, and I'm sitting there metal detect, because even though I've pounded it, I'll still metal detect it, and every once in a while I find something that popped up.
right.
I had a real good signal, and I dug it up, and I'm looking at it, and it was a Gerber baby jar lid. Okay. And so I go like this to knock the dirt out of it, and in the dirt clump that comes out was an arrow point.
Wow.
I'm Frank, I can't believe this. And I'm calling him over, I'm like, look. Like, just, that was weird. It was so random that ended up in that Gerber baby food top from like the 60s or 70s, ended up going further and further down into the ground until it was on top of that, because it was about 7 or 8 inches down.
Wow.
But and then I found a net weight, a big net weight they were using. I found a knife sharpener, an arrow point sharpener. It just, so this place is like one that we go to on a regular basis looking. It's, the finds have slowed down because now it's harder work. We got all the easy stuff, and the shards, I have just hundreds of pieces of shards of
what?
Plates, glass. Now if it's glass, it's because it has something on it. It's embossed with something. It's a broken shard,
Okay.
but it has something on it. And like, if it's a plate, it's a plate that, or cup or something that has like the stamp or part of the stamp.
Right. Gotcha.
But,
When you were saying glass shards, I'm going, was there a glass plant? But you're talking about pottery and
well, yeah,
things like
because
that.
they were just throwing their trash from
Right.
the 1800s through out the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, the Native Americans, from what we found out, is they were there. They were right there. It was a point that they would come in on their canoes.
Wow.
Prior to the white man being there.
Right.
And they would come up the hill and then go across. There's like big fields, and they would go over to these fields. And I already found in the field across the street. Can't wait to clean this, but this is part of an axe. Okay.
Yeah.
An old axe. Well, one of the things they would do is they would break it. They would break the piece of the axe off, the Indians, the Native Americans. Now, this is in the 1700s, and they would use it for their own tool. And about 5 feet from where I found this, a buddy of mine found the other part.
Cool.
But we believe that's what it was used for. Then, as we did more research, we found out through a newspaper article, going back, I think it was the 40s or 50s, and when they were building a highway extension in this one section off that big field that I found that hatchet head, they plowed the Indian burial mounds down, and then they filled the cement pylons on top of them.
Oh, man.
And like, I guess some of the workers that were there and had to do it were upset doing that,
Right.
They weren't upset because political or any of that, or the right thing or morals. They were upset because they didn't want to have bad juju.
They were upset because they were scared.
Yeah, exactly. So just
not because they wanted to save anything.
right. And that's why, like, when I say chasing history, once I get started on something, then I'm going to research it. And a friend of mine, I don't know if you guys know Aquachigger, Bo, he turned me on to the Library of Congress website. And boy, that was a game changer. As soon as I found that, it's like, and started finding older maps and
anything that's ever been written, put down on paper is in the Congress Library of Congress. And I mean anything and everything.
Yeah, that and you know, so those are I really research you know, where I'm at. I generally don't go even to knock on a door without doing at least a property map look at on a you know, a property parcel view, you know, for that county and township. And then as far as the history of it, you know, I'll do all the due diligence trying to find more about that area or that house or, you know, wherever we're at. But yeah, the canal, that's one of my favorites. I do a lot of area out by 3 Mile Island, TMI, which I was only a few miles away when that happened in 78. I was in grade school, or 79, I think. But anyways, I was in grade school just a few miles away. And grew up, I don't know if you guys saw on Netflix, they had a special about 3 Mile Island, and they had a girl there my age, and we kind of grew up together and went to college, and you know, still are friends to this day. But I do a lot out in that area, which has a lot of Native American history, a lot of, you know, early settlement. Anywhere along a river, you're going to find that, you know. And, you know, people are always like, where should I look? Rivers, creeks, or streams, damn it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's was their highways, and then animal trails and Indian trails, and then roads. And
if you're going to set up a camp, that's where you do it.
But they always had, before any of that stuff, rivers, creeks, and streams.
Now, I heard that a lot of times they wouldn't settle right on them. They'd be like a half mile back, a mile back from the river.
Well, they were smart enough to know that there's a floodplain.
Well, exactly. I mean, even out of the floodplain, because not all travelers are friends. So, since those were the highways and the byways of years gone past, they wouldn't live like on a ridge overlooking like a lot of people do now. They would be back from the stream, half mile, so people wouldn't see them right off the bat. Much truth to that?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would always be above any water that they could. You know, no more than a mile away, you know, because they'd have to walk to get their water.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, you know, I don't know what you mean more than like by a half mile back, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they stayed far enough back, like, you know, to avoid any flooding, but they did stay by water, you know.
Well, yeah, stayed by water, but I mean also from being in view of unwanting eyes, you know, like.
Oh, yeah, they never, well, you know, but the thing is, you would think that, but before we came, they didn't feel that way. I mean, they warred with themselves, but it wasn't massive war like we're used to. They'd go and raid a camp and maybe kill one guy and capture another.
I'm talking more of like white settlers.
Oh, white settlers. Yeah. Okay. Now
Pioneers.
they would settle away from the Indians.
Well, they knew the rivers and bigger
Yeah.
streams
Yeah.
were highways and byways.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're close to water, but they didn't want to be so close they're easily seen.
Right. Right.
All right, let me stop you here for a second and say
No.
hi to some more people.
I'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Mountaineer
got,
Mike.
Yeah, Kofi. How do you pronounce that? Kofi. Kofi like button activated. So, hi.
Co-founder.
Mike, what's up, buddy? Yeah.
Mountaineer Mike.
What are you, Dana, what's you in Jefferson State talking about? Doing a trip?
He guides fishing.
Oh, no.
Ah.
Yeah.
Talked to him out there at Tim's outing, and I want to go do an outing with him. I want to spend a few days out on the river. Right now it's steelhead. I can't get out there, but right now he said the steelhead are running.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Love to get out there and do
Some
that.
good
Man, that would be
fish
awesome.
right there, steelhead.
Yeah, buddy.
It'll just be awesome to do it. Go out and fish, and I like fishing.
Coffee.
Heck yeah, man. What is it?
Welcome,
Coffee.
Coffee.
Gotcha.
Welcome,
What did I say?
Coffee.
Oh, I said coffee.
Michael.
Okay, coffee. I have some coffee right now. Thank you.
That's what I'm- Hey, can I show you guys some stuff I cleaned up?
Sure, by
absolutely.
all means. Oh, I don't know, Dustin.
So this, I don't know if you guys recognize this.
That looks
Sledgehammer
like a big
head.
hammer.
Conestoga wagon hammer.
Oh,
Huh.
cool.
And that was
Where does that fit on a Conestoga wagon?
probably it would just sticks into the side. I mean, now you'd have a piece of wood there and it would just.
It went over his head. Ed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was trying to figure what part
Jesse
that
was being a smart ass.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. I'll just
Yeah.
ignore it.
Yeah, don't ignore me.
Lizzie Borden's axe.
Yeah.
That's a roofing hammer.
No. Well, yes, it is. It's got the nail hook.
It's
Yes, it
a
is.
shake hammer.
Yep, sure is.
But
How old do you think that is?
oh,
1700s.
60s.
Oh,
Yeah,
60s?
could be.
Yeah, 1950s, 1960s. Now the Conestoga, 1700s, 1800s, without a doubt. I mean, I guess they stopped using those wagons around the 1870s.
So what makes that hammerhead that wagon?
For
What was
the Conestoga wagon,
Yeah, for the Conestoga, I couldn't think of the name of it.
basically they would use that to hammer it. It was like if you look at a big sledgehammer or a big hammer, this is actually small for that. Okay, for a big.
That's what, about a 3-pounder?
Yeah. So this would be perfect, like as a total utility tool. You can
I
knock.
have a short handle then.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It would go like right in the side of the wagon. They usually had like wooden catches that you could slide stuff in.
Right, right.
And
The reason I say that because I have one. I have one, but I didn't. It's a modern one. It's a modern 3-pound sledgehammer with a short handle.
yeah, this one, they would have used it for their wheels. They would have used it for the horses or mules.
How you get them going.
Yeah,
They're going. No, not like that.
and someone said it looks nice and oiled up. And what this is, guys, I actually dremeled this. This was caked in rust, and I dremeled it. I hit off the loose rust that I couldn't dremel, and then I painted it with special rust paint. So it's not going to rust anymore. The rusting stopped, and you can handle it. So it's there's not stuff all over it. Back when I was first into the hobby, I used oil for certain things, but I don't anymore because it's just messy and stinky.
Really?
Mineral oil maybe, but other than that, no. This is the way to go, in my opinion. But
Jefferson State Gold says it was for maintaining the wagons and whatever else you needed.
yep, absolutely a great utility hammer.
The original BFH.
That's awesome. So
What's up, two brothers, treasures?
Let's see. Do I have any other treasure porn for you guys?
So, speaking of treasure, so are you interested in doing any other type of treasure hunting? I know you're into antiques. So that means you probably like going to flea markets and auctions.
Auctions, flea markets,
love
not so
auctions.
much, but auctions, is where I find a lot of good stuff. And I only sell. We have two stands. We have one stand, at Old Factory in Hummelstown, Pennsylvania, and in that stand, it is straight up antiques. I mean, everything is old. There's no 60s or 70s. You're going back, 1950s on to the 1700s. Right. That's where my heart lies, in that kind of antiques. The one we have at Old Sled Works in Duncannon, Pennsylvania, that is our, I don't want to say our junk because it's not junk, but when you go to auctions, you get a lot of box lots. So you might you might only want one thing in that box lot that made it.
And then you got to go, what am I going to do to all this the rest of the stuff?
Exactly.
I'm looking at a garage full right now.
So that I have at the other place. So if anyone decides to go to Pennsylvania to see Dutch Boys Antiques, which is under my name, Dustin DiAgostino, it'll be DiAgostino Antiques. Go to Old Factory in Hummelstown before you go to the other one. It's a better representation.
Right.
Now, as far as treasure hunting, I will do anything. Like I just, I'm now, in my early 50s, and over the last like 10, 15 years, like with TV shows and stuff, man, if I would have known about like running heavy equipment in Alaska, I would have been there when I was in my 20s. Had no idea.
Yeah, I hear you, dude. I know the feeling.
So, I mean, even like when Deadliest Catch came out, I said, now there's no way I could do that. And when I first started seeing that, I was, I guess, in my late 30s, right? And I'm like, nah, I'm too old for that now. But in my 20s, I would have tried anything. I mean, that's a different treasure, but I would have tried it.
Oh, heck yeah.
I would go anywhere to chase history. If they called me and said, we want you to go to Oak Island, I'd go to Oak Island. If they said, hey, we need you to go here, I'd go there. It's just all about the adventure and the experience to me. I can't take any of this stuff with me.
Right.
My family's going to sell anything worth money. I'm going to donate everything else to, a couple of the local preservation societies. And aside from that, only thing I can take with me is the experiences and the adventures. And so I don't stop at anything. Like today, I was in a field outside 3 Mile Island, and the sun's coming down, but it was a beautiful day. It was, low 70s, but it was a field of poop, dried poop, so I'm just metal detecting, and it was flat. So it was perfect. It was like just walking on a road, but it was poop. So I'm just out there in the middle of poop looking for whatever I can find out there. And
non-poop.
Yeah, for non-poop.
Yeah.
I didn't find much non-poop, but
Jared, Mr. Lodak wants to know if you found any gold rings yet, or many.
I found one.
You found some.
I found one gold ring so far. I brought it home. I showed it to my wife, and it's 3.5 grams gold. I think it was 18 or 14. I'm not sure, but it weighed in at 3.5 grams. And after I weighed it and everything, I said to my wife, I said, boy, I can't wait to display it. She goes, well, here, let me clean it up for you. I haven't seen it since.
Yeah. Yes, you have.
Did you wear
You're wearing it.
You have it on right now? She has it on right now.
That's what I just said. You've seen her wearing it. You
Let's
haven't
see
even
it.
And that, other than like treble guild buttons,
Right.
I haven't had that much luck with gold. Silver, yeah, but gold's that tricky signal too, that it can ring up anywhere on a low end of anyone's spectrum, no matter what the
Right.
machine is.
From anywhere from a pull tab to gold.
Yeah.
Lead, gold,
Yeah.
aluminum.
And you generally, at least like for me, if I go to a place, the first couple times I'm hitting high signals. So with that thought process in mind, those are signals that could be missed more easily than anything else. But yeah, I found that, but I found tons of silver jewelry and silver coins and, just all kinds of treasure, really.
That's cool.
Silver spoon. I found a silver thimble. Just I have. This is one of the nicer coins. This was
Morgan?
No, it is a barber quarter.
Nice.
Just in real nice condition.
I was actually trying to get our friend Gold Pro Unlimited sweaty. He loves his Morgans.
That is, here you go. That is the one coin, any kind of silver dollar is one of the bucket listers I've yet to have.
I was just going to ask you about your bucket list. What you had?
Here's a Drake bust that I got in.
Other way.
Yeah, let me do it this way.
There you go. Wow.
You guys can get
Barely see any detail on it.
Yeah.
I see a little bit.
Yeah,
A little bit of an outline, but that's about it.
Doesn't do it justice.
there you go. There you go.
And that is
just think of the story she could tell.
1798.
What's up, Vendetta?
Mike, brother. Now, okay, what's your white whale?
A silver dollar.
You haven't found a silver dollar yet?
Nope. That's it. Other than that, I got lucky my first full year, even searching that Camp Meade, the houses along there, they're all from like the late 1700s. So there's a lot of good stuff. And my first silver coin, it was a 1794 real.
Ooh,
Nice.
8 real.
As a matter of fact,
silver is beautiful.
That's right.
Now, the detail on it's weak, but it's still what it is. But this was my first silver coin. There we go.
Which one?
Nice.
And
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is.
so that was my actual first silver coin. My second silver coin was an 1876 seeded dime. So like I started out like gangbusters finding, stuff that, is kind of hard for other people to find. Well, I mean, I haven't repeated on the real. So, I mean, for me, it's the area is just beyond real. It's like right at the border of time where reals came out and you have more of the U.S. currency, the coins. So most of the coins where I'm at are like 1800s on,
All right, Dennis Hedrick says he's killing it on nails.
I am too, man. I think everyone out there, especially with the ground so dry this year, so many nails sound like little squeakers, and the copper ones, they're going to give you a two-way repeatable signal, and they might only be like 1 point off on a VDI. So it's like you got to dig it, but if you're on an old site, you're going to dig some nails.
Yeah, you're gonna dig a lot of trash too.
Yeah. And I hunt with Mine Lab. I started out, now I don't promote anyone because I'm not a dealer or anything, but I started out with Garrett, and it got me to a point where with that I was really using the AT Pro. And then a friend of mine, Jerry, he had gotten this mine, the 800, and we were just comparing signals, and it was like, I'm getting that. Because the technology from that to the Pro to the Knox 800, it's night and day. Now I'm looking at, I've been talking to Joe Setti about getting a Deus 2, because I heard the trash separation with that is incredible. Like you can actually go into heavy trash.
Yeah, I hear they're a good machine, but the price difference from even a Knox 800 to a XP, whew,
Yeah, I mean, it's all, unfortunately, it's all expensive,
True, for a good machine, and
Yeah,
and it's you get what you pay for.
you really
Right.
do. And I know these companies are doing a really great job trying to put out more affordable technology for people, but in essence, they're just temporary stops until they realize, okay, I need to go up to the next level. But yeah, that's kind of how I started out, like with the machines. I owned the AT Gold. I love the AT Gold. That actually worked great for coins, believe it or not. I had obviously I started with the Ace 250. I had the AT Gold, then the AT Pro. I had both those, and then just went right over to the 800 and haven't looked back. And I don't even really need to go get another detector, but like there are trashy areas that I found that even the 800 has limitations. But in the same token, with that 800, I can't tell you how many times I got a silver signal or a penny signal, and there was other signals in there, but those signals came in really good. The 800 can pick up coins standing up and down really good, better than any detector that I know of at this point. But yeah, it's just, that's what I use. That's what I dig with. I don't think anyone's wrong. I think the more you learn your machine, the better off you are. I know there's guys that still pound it away with the Pro, because they've learned it. I mean, it's like they know it like the back of their hand. I ain't got time to do that.
That's one of the things you always hear me talk about too, is you got to learn your equipment.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you got to learn how to use a hammer before you can drive a nail.
Yep.
So,
Even the 800, I don't know the 800 like I did the Pro. The 800 with all these extra additional features and tones, some of that's really beyond my level, and I have to ask others for help on it. Like I don't really believe in tuning it like some people do. I just basic settings and out the door.
Go with factory settings and go.
Well, I set it up a little bit different. I watched, of course, YouTube videos when the 800 came out, and just followed a couple of the people on there and what they did. But for the most part, it isn't far off from factory settings now. But I love it.
And then you got to get out there and use it and learn your particular machine.
Yep.
Because even A2, let's say an Ace 350, you put two of them together, and they're going to be a little different. They're not going to be exactly the same. So you got to learn each machine. We can't build everything exactly the same like we'd like to.
Isn't that the truth? I'm interested to see this manticore come out, but not interested like I'm ready to run out the door and break the piggy bank. I'm just interested to see.
Right.
Well, and like Mr. Lodak's saying, if you use them enough, metal detectors pay for themselves fairly quick, 1-2 years for me, but I have to have 3 gold rings in the bag. Well, I did before I sold them. Yeah, and that's, I think a metal detector can get you your money back better than prospecting equipment, quicker, I should say. But then that depends too, because I got a Mine Lab Gold Monster. I found 3 nuggets with it, so it hasn't paid for itself, but that's okay.
Well, you know,
3 nuggets.
Dig Stock 5, which is next spring, they're going to have panning. They're actually
Yeah, they're actually sponsored by the GPAA for that outing.
Yeah, I can't wait. That is going to be outrageous because I've tried to pan and look for gold in streams up here, but we don't really have streams known for it. But gold is everywhere. It's just in what size and what quantity. So
well, there's a good share of fine gold, fine glaciated gold in PA.
Yes.
And
Hey,
I've actually heard of some people in the Harrisburg area who's come across some pretty decent deposits. It's just like detecting, Dustin. It's a matter of inches.
What they do is more to your point, Ed. What you just said is down in like Columbia area of which is, I don't know, like 30 miles from me, south of me, downriver. They have real fine flour gold, and so they do actually run the why am I drawing a blank on it? The dredge. They run dredges down there.
Okay.
And they dredge for the flour gold. Now where I'm at, there is, like in Lebanon, there were some gold deposits up there. And the one stream I was in, which comes from Lebanon down, that's where I was detected. I got lots of black sand, but that was about it. It just showed me that I knew at least half of what I was doing to get to that.
Well, yeah, it's you know, it's like metal detector. You got to know where to detect. You know, with gold, you got to know where to look.
Yep.
First thing, you find out where gold's been found. You know, and there's been gold. There's gold in Pennsylvania, and it is the fine stuff because it's glaciated gold.
Yeah,
that's how we find here in Ohio. Mostly in most of the northern states. That's what you find will be that glaciated gold. You start getting into areas where there's a load of gold in veins, like California, the Appalachians. Most everywhere else is going to be fine gold.
Virginia has some good load gold areas.
Yep,
New York.
That's something I really,
Maine.
I would love to go to Alaska, and even now I'd go if I could make money. You know, I wouldn't want to go and just go for that adventure. But
well, it's, you know, the thing about looking for gold, right? In order to make money, you got to put the work in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't mind that. But the other part of that is, in order to make money, you got to spend money too.
That's true too. We have a couple friends who last couple years have gone up to Alaska dredging, and they make their money, but they bust their butts doing it. You know,
I'm interested.
They're out all day dredging. They're out all day working. They're not hanging out and shooting shooting the bull with a bunch of other miners, not getting any gold.
Right.
They're out there working for it. So yeah, it's there. You just got to work for it.
Have you been there to Alaska doing that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Have you been anywhere where there was like, you had like a really good day panning or something? Or
the 3 of us went to California a few years ago, and we metal detected for gold, We all found some gold. In fact, that day, 6 of us found a total of almost an ounce and a quarter.
It was an ounce and a quarter.
Okay, yeah, ounce and a quarter between
Wow.
6 of us. All
That's
nuggets,
awesome.
all nuggets, metal detecting.
Yeah,
So,
with
you
yeah, a
know,
great
like for us
day.
here in Ohio, the metal detect for gold is
Find
not,
a lot of lead.
yeah. Basically, to hunt for gold using a metal detector here, we look for heavy metals.
We look for barbed wire and lead shot, and we look for places where man-made metals would fall out in a stream, and that's usually where gold will fall out too. So
Also, like what I had read, when I was researching getting into doing some panning, is bends and streams
yeah,
are a place, because that's what I was doing. Is hitting some bends, trying to get
Well,
into
you
that.
think about gold being 19 point something times heavier than water. It takes a lot of water to make it move, right? So it's going to move in a straight line, as straight as possible down the stream. So it will hug the inside of a bend, and it will hug the deep areas in the waters. It'll get caught up in cracks and stuff, and it's also travel along the bottom.
yeah. I like
It's always
saying
traveling to the center of the earth.
I like saying gold will travel much like a salmon going upstream. It will take the path of least resistance, and so and gold only moves during major flood events
Right.
when your whole channel's moving and stuff's your gravels are moving. So you think, how would it look when it's flooding, and go from there. Or when I used to go out all the time, especially out west, I would look at my claims during all stages, flood stage, and see where eddies were, and um, vortexes, and places where gold would drop out. And then when gold came down and I was able to dredge, that's where I'd focus on.
Yeah,
And
I'd like to do it.
well, tell you what, uh, Andy's your bro and your co-host with his show. Uh, you two are in Pennsylvania. We had Jocelyn and Drew come out from PA to join us
Yeah,
at the
they're good
Swank.
people. You know them.
Yeah. They came out and visited with some of us at the Swank West property of the GPAA, for an outing. Sometime, come on out. I know Andy has a sweet little trailer. Uh, he has his little camp unit. Come on out to Ohio. We don't promise nuggets, but we do promise a golden time with good people.
That's what I'm interested in.
And
Awesome. Thank you.
there's been relics found there, native artifacts, old large cents. We've all found a couple of pickers on this lease and stuff. It's a beautiful place to camp. And we
Thank
could
you.
show you around. You could use our equipment. If I still have my equipment, you're more than welcome to use it. But I can't talk for the other two, but I'll talk for me.
I got all kinds of equipment I can put you to work on.
We
Oh, heck yeah.
between the three of
We'll
us,
give you-
we have dredges, we have high bankers, we have sluices,
And we have shovels.
Dredges.
and you can keep every little speck of gold you find.
I'll be there tomorrow. The only thing is you know, Andy's always trying to get me to go in that camper to spoon. I just, it really bothers me. So, I mean, I might have to
just tell him you want to be the big spoon.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what pokes up, Andy. Just ignore it.
So now we're getting close to time here. I'm going to ask you a hypothetical question that we like to ask.
Yeah.
No restrictions. Money is not an object. And when I say no restrictions, I mean, don't worry about the laws. Don't worry about any of that stuff. You're into history. Where would you like to go treasure hunting? And I'm not holding you down to just metal detecting, you know, mud lurking, bottle digging, any kind of treasure hunting. Where would you like to go?
I tell you what I'd really like to do. I know you're thinking probably he lives in PA, he'd love to go to Gettysburg, and I would, but I would love to go mudlarking on the Thames.
Ooh,
No, that would be cool.
That'd be cool.
Really would.
That'd be really cool.
That's
Hang
what I
out
would
with
like to do.
Nicole White and
Yeah.
find some clay pipes or whatever.
Yeah, I'd love even that, or I mean, there's a couple of them that Chill Bill, he's pretty cool. Yeah, I watched the video when Nugget Noggin went out there a few years back.
Right. I saw that one.
Yeah, so that would be,
Isn't that when Jocelyn went out with him?
I don't think
No,
so.
Jocelyn wasn't in that one, I don't think, but he met up with Nicole White.
And Chill Bill. I think Chill Bill was there too.
Right.
But yeah, that is what I would do. Just because you know, those guys are finding stuff from the 1600s, and
right.
You know, for me to find, it took me 15 years to find even my first clay pipe stem. You know, they're pulling out big full pipes and you know, swords and heck
right.
yeah.
What I can't believe is flipping England makes you pay for a permit to mudlark. You gotta get a permit to clean up their flipping rivers. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. But that would be the one. Now I live near Gettysburg, and I've only ever hunted like 2 permissions that were close to it. Well, one was a group hunt, and then one was a permission, but it wasn't near the battlefield. And I found one bullet at the group hunt that was right outside the chapel, one of the yards or whatever outside the chapel house, I should say. Up there, if you don't know someone, or there's no way to really knock on the door up there and ask. They've been suppressed so hard over the years. So I would love to find a place, like there's a guy, Mike Howell, that detects all around the area, you know, not inside the battlefield, but like anywhere he can get on the outskirts. And he's finding a lot of stuff. And a lot of it's in the creek. I would love to find a Civil War battlefield, especially Gettysburg. I mean, there's got to be more stuff out there. One thing that always interests me, you go down to the antique stores in Gettysburg, okay? They've been around for 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
How is it they never run out of Civil War artifacts from Gettysburg if you're not allowed to detect on the battlefield?
Because they're made in China.
or either made in China, or there's a lot of underground metal detecting going on.
Well, you know, the national monument's only so much of it, right? It isn't the whole battlefield area. So if there's scrimmages of that battle in bordering farmland and stuff that people can hunt, you know.
Yep, and there is, but you know, like I said, it's been pressed so so hard by so many people for so long that generally those people are like, no. I remember one time I sent out 84 mailers, and only one replied because, and it was like, hey, I didn't want to knock on your door, so I'm sending you this. And I'd have a card and a sticker in it, and, yada, yada, yada. One person replied to say, no, I'm not interested. So, I mean,
Hey, at least you got a reply.
yeah, I got excited. It was like, oh, man. But, yeah, other than that, like I said, mudlarking on the Thames, that would just be awesome. It really would.
That would
Yeah,
be cool.
that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
I didn't know if you thought I'd go that way, but yeah.
Well, hey, I don't know which way you're gonna go.
You
Me
never
and someone
know.
said they-
I
Me
always,
and someone said they wanted to go to Mars to prospect for gold. So,
I always keep
all things are possible.
I'm always looking for stuff in the ground, always buttons.
Right.
I mean, I've found tons of surface finds. Mainly buttons, especially even the porcelain buttons, stuff like that. I'm finding just larking at the canal site.
Right.
I haven't been there in 2 weeks, so when I go, I know there's going to be buttons. Every time I go, there's like 5 to 10 buttons, and then you'll find a flat button. I found in one video I have, I'd put my hand down to look at one artifact, and when I was pulling my head up, like to the other side of my hand was a flat button laying on a rock.
I found a cool flat button Labor Day weekend, Dustin.
You did?
Yeah, the shank's intact. The home site dates back to the 1800s. It's along a creek here locally. And I want to go back when the beans are off the field because we found trade beads there, clay pipes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I found some trade beads. Yeah.
And I've checked maps and stuff, and I can find it. The house is there on mid to late 1800 maps. So
one of the nicest flat buttons I found was earlier this spring, and it was a treble guild button, and I soaked it in lemon juice and just gave it a brushing, and those treble guild buttons are just awesome. Then I looked up, what is this treble guild? What is the double guild? And I guess it's the amount of gold grains they put in to whatever amount of brass that they're melting.
Yeah, whatever they're called.
Yes. Did I say that right? Did I get that right? Because I just found that out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that they weighed it like. I didn't know they weighed it like that.
Yeah, it was like
probably is a weight.
Yeah, it was like so many grains, but I forget what the ratio was. And that surprised me because I didn't realize there was any gold in it. Not that there's a huge content. Hey, pizza for me. Yeah. Look at that. He bought me pizza. That's a sign.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Where's ours? Gee whiz.
You don't get none.
I see how you are now, Dustin.
I'll eat a slice for you guys.
Okay,
All right, do
that
that.
sounds
There's
good.
3 of you, so that's 1 slice for each of you.
That doesn't leave much for her, does it? Because you'll probably eat 3 slices yourself.
Where's mine?
Oh, you forgot her.
You forgot me.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. How can you forget me?
The worst part is I'm on a diet. So I had salmon,
wow.
salad tonight, and then my son comes home with pizza. It's
But hey, it's okay because you're not eating it for yourself.
That's right. You're eating it for us, so it's all good.
So it doesn't count. You're
That's right. That's right.
See?
Right.
Now
Thanks,
don't blame us when you weigh a little heavier in the morning.
I won't.
But that's okay. So have you gotten into magnet fishing yet?
I haven't personally, but my friend Andy Snell from Lost Boy Recovery, I took him to the canal and he took his out and did some magnet fishing, and he found just some rusty stuff. He didn't find anything of note. It wasn't really a great spot. He just did it. He brought it along just to do it. But other than that, no, only from the, I don't have an issue with it. It's just that it's all wet iron coming out.
Yeah, that it is.
You know, it's dirty.
That
It's
wet,
and-
dirty, stinky.
Stinky.
and like, you know, there's no choice of getting coins. You know, I mean, what are the chances of
Well,
getting?
it
Well, at
depends on
least
what country you're
American
in.
coins, you could
No
get.
American coins.
Right. Know
But-
what's funny? Sunday, Jersey Ray and I hit 3-4 different spots on the Miami Erie Canal, and I was thinking I'd at least find something, but all I found was one washer and a half of a screw. That's it.
That's not good.
No, it was rather
that's not.
disappointing. No guns,
Yeah.
no nails, no nothing.
I
Half
got to
a
hang
screw.
out with Jersey Ray. That was the treasure of the day.
That it was.
Absolutely.
Actually, she was my guest at my house for the whole weekend.
Good people. She's good people.
And
So we got
we
Mr.
hooked up.
Lodak.
We hooked up with B3 Relic Recovery and Ohio Metal Maven and nailed it detecting. I made 2 new friends and had spent some time with some other friends and had a great weekend. But as you were saying,
Mr. Lodak wants to hear about your scariest experience while metal detecting or bottle hunting or any treasure hunting.
yeah,
I'll tell you a couple experiences. I fall. One time I was with Frank, and we're at the top of the hill, off where the towpath would have been, and the hill goes down pretty steep. And at the beginning, this is a couple years ago, and it was at the beginning of the season. We didn't have everything cleared out yet. Didn't have the path cleared out, and eventually, years later, we've put like footpath in it and steps and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm walking, and I pick my foot up to skip to try to miss a vine, and I went head over heel like twice, and I hit the bottom, and I don't know how I did it, but I like rolled and popped myself up, and I like looked up the hill because the way I fell, I like fell facing up the hill then. And I'm just looking at Frank with his eyes out of his head. And I'm like, tell me you recorded that. And he's like, dude, I thought you were dead. I wasn't even thinking of recording it. I was thinking of calling 911. So that was a hairy time. And then early on, I'm detecting this old mill house. People gave me permission. And so, and this is when I have my pro, and it's along a creek. And I'm just detecting along, and I got a signal, and I took a step back, to give me room to, narrow in my signal. And when I did, I just felt something under my foot. And I looked down, and I mean, I'm getting like willies thinking about it. The biggest snake I've seen is going the other way. And now when it happened, I'm like, ah! I probably said a couple bad words. I don't know. But I screamed like a little girl. Okay. Jumped, ran in the opposite direction. And as I'm looking over, I'm watching him go the other way. I trip and fall. What's that?
So screaming like a little girl.
Yeah.
Snake.
No, I was. He was just like, get me away from the little girl. So I fall, which scares me even more because I'm like, I don't know, is there more snakes and all that. End of the day, I go to say goodbye to the owners, and I said, oh my God, I said, this snake scared the shit out of me. I never seen a snake that big. It had like a red color, and they're like, oh, that's our snake. That's our, and they had some goofy name like Rufus or some S-H-I. They're like, oh, that's Rufus. He's been here for years. We feed him. And I said, well, Rufus just went down the creek that way because I went that way. They're like, oh, he'll be back.
We feed Rufus our young.
And I'm just like, I just said, this would have been a good thing to tell me. And I said it laughing. And she's like, yeah, I didn't think about that. That to me was probably the scariest. To be honest, the falling. Last week I was going looking for a bottle dump, and I'm going down a hill, and I fell, shoulder first, sliding through the leaves and everything, and it happened so quick. And then I just there was a fallen tree, and I slid up into it and stopped. And when I realized I was okay, I just laughed because it was like a little boy moment. It was like falling off the bike.
Anyone film it?
No. It was just me.
Oh, okay. Never
know,
happened.
So and then I'll tell you another funny story I had. It's not me. It's at one point, I was friends with this guy. I'm not going to mention his name at all. I don't even know if he detects anymore. And for one summer, I detected with him. And it was weird. Every time we'd pull up to go detect, he'd run out of his truck and go off in the cornfield. And, now normally he'd say, oh, I got to, what, and then you go. Well, here, it got to be so much. I'm like, dude, what's going on? He'd get so excited to detect that he'd be normal, but as soon as he pulled up to wherever he was detecting, his stomach would turn with excitement, and he'd go off into the cornfield and poop. And I didn't really detect with him after that. After I kind of figured out what was going on, and one day I'm going down, where it was cleared, and there's a patch of corn still up beside me, and I'm going, and I hear this, hey, and he starts yelling because I got the earphones on. So I'm listening, and he's like, hi, and I go, what? And he's like, you got toilet paper. And I'm like, put my headphones on and kept going.
Mountain money.
I would have handed him a corn stalk.
Here you go. Well,
I pity the animals that are eating that feed.
Well, here we go sideways. Sorry, everyone. I'm going to take it sideways. At least he wasn't so excited he was going out in the cornfield and rubbing one out.
Yeah, it might have sounded like that's where that was going, but no, it was he had to poop every time.
Before he goes hunting, he always goes to the bathroom.
And it's like, geez, dude. Anyways, that's the funny story, one of the funny stories. But yeah, not too many other bad incidents. And even this year, I haven't seen a snake in a couple years, really. Bees. Oh, I was out with Frank, and we saw this big hive, and he was showing it to me. And here, as he's showing it to me, one of them came out. It did a beat, it came out, went past Frank, and did 100 miles an hour. And it was like a punch in my cheek, and he stung me. And now that one, it bothered me because halfway through detecting, my whole face swelled up. And but that was a bad one. But even bees and horse flies, they bug me the most. And now these lantern flies popping all over me when I'm detecting. But
what are lantern flies?
You guys don't have lantern?
Are those lightning bugs?
Lightning bugs.
Oh, okay.
No, not lightning bugs. Lantern flies. Yeah, we have. Yeah, they're a big problem out here. They are these alien-looking things that have multiple colors of red and white, and gray and
Right. I saw,
they're
because I saw an article.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw an article about talking about there's some kind of invasion of these.
Yeah. So
Huh.
And I thought
Lantern
they were
bugs,
talking about, you know,
fireflies.
fireflies. You know,
no.
and I'm thinking,
No,
oh, it's just another name that somebody else is calling them, right? Another part of the country, but they're different, huh?
Yeah, and they don't bite, they don't sting, but the thing is they're always jumping around like crickets, except they
Yeah.
fly. And so they fly to colors, like dark things. So if you're out there on the field, even in like this navy blue, they're jumping on me. I
Huh.
can't stand that, you know. Like today I was out and they're like landing on my neck. I'm sitting there like, yeah, headphones are falling off my head. But yeah, they're pretty bad out here. This is the second year, I think. And it started slow and it took 2 years and yeah, we're really infested with it.
Yeah, I noticed an article the other day about lantern flies, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, those are.
Yeah.
I know
But they're not,
sweat bees can be a real pain in the
Sweat
butt
bees
around
suck.
here.
Oh
So are
yeah.
horse flies, and no seams are even worse.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
you don't see them.
Horse flies, I swear, they're the nastiest.
Oh,
They bite
they
hard.
bite hard.
I wear socks and I pull them all the way up to my knees when I'm out. And I spray like to the point where it saturates my socks. And I'll sit there and I'll be like, what the heck? And I'll look down and there's one munching away. And the good thing is they're so intense on eating you, you can kill almost every one of them.
Right. They're
Oh, back home.
got a one-track mind.
Yeah.
Back home, Dustin, the deer flies and stuff, they'll chase you in the creek. You'll go underwater, you'll lose your breath, you have to breathe, and there they are, hovering right there. It's like shit.
Fun. Well, we went.
Yeah, the guys in the chat room were talking about fire ants. I had an experience with fire ants when I was about, when I was about 3 years old, 4 years old. And then when my son was about,
And Jessica.
they
They were outside on the patio in Texas.
we were in Texas. They were right in the middle of a anthill. I sat on one. You know.
So did they. She had it in her diaper.
Oh yeah,
all over 'em.
those things are nasty.
Ooh,
Fire ants are terrible. They attack.
Oh.
They attack.
Yeah, it's been a challenging year between the horse flies and the lantern flies because they're everywhere. You know,
They're gonna take over the world anyway. So.
Oh yeah.
Oingo Boingo has a song about insects.
Only you, Ed, would come up with Oingo Boingo from like the early 80s.
Hey, they're a great band. They had a lot of good
man.
stuff.
I remember, what was it, A Dead Man's Party?
Yeah,
like that
good song, but they have a song called Insects. You know, insects bite you, demons suck. They'll rule the world someday. Oh, bite and suck you anyway. Oh.
One thing I did want to let you guys know that we didn't touch on, and I probably should have touched on in the beginning, is the reason I even started the Dutch Boy YouTube channel was I had gone through some health issues, and that was about 6 years ago, and I didn't know, you know, how long I would have out. It was some heart things, and you know, I didn't know where my life was going, and so I decided to basically do these adventures and document something that would hopefully last a lifetime. You know, that my kids, their kids, and you know, if anyone wanted to see what their crazy grandpa or great grandpa was doing, they can get on YouTube and see that.
And that's funny because a lot of people that started doing YouTube videos started for the same reason. Not everybody, but there's a lot of people that's why they're doing YouTube.
You
know,
to help
show.
Yeah.
And it, you know, like, because there's a lot, like, now I'm a few years into it. I've made a lot of connections, and you know, I have the channel. It's growing at a slow, even pace. But and I'm a little more into the promoting of it now than I was before. But at the end of the day, I'm still out there just doing it just to give that information to people. Like with Andy and I on Lost Boys Recovery on our live stream, we're not promoting ourselves. I mean, we do. We'll say, hey, sub our channel. I mean, but other than that,
Oh yeah, it's like me when I go, hey, you guys, I hope you all share this tonight.
but that, and that's the thing, like we try to offer information, things that'll help. We try not to promote, and even with myself, I don't go full blast into promotion like I probably should if I wanted to do anything with this. But
Well, if you want to grow, right?
The main thing is I'm just very happy and appreciative of the people that have subscribed, and I'm really happy to like meet you tonight. And I guess this is the second time we've talked now.
Right.
And it's you make these nice connections and you meet these good people. So it kind of evolved in a way. Like I'm still doing it for the same reason, but like there's icing on the cake with it. When you think of all the friends and, I just got invited. Ed, you're in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
So I just got invited to Ohio. I mean, where else are you going to have something like that happen? Just in a chat, so I appreciate you guys bringing me on and promoting my channel. And I just didn't want to let the night get away without telling you that. And thank you. I just appreciate everything you guys have
You're
done.
more than welcome, and
Yeah.
thank you for joining us, Dustin.
Absolutely.
If you ever want to get out, we can always meet up somewhere and enjoy a weekend on the creek.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And listen, the canal, the way the permission's set up and the friendship I have with the owner, I can bring multiple people on there. I can't guarantee you're going to find all the cool things I found because I found them. So I don't know.
We'll find the other cool things then.
But
Yeah.
there's chocolate there. We need
Yeah,
to go.
there's chocolate.
There's chocolate there.
nearby.
We need to go.
And there's still a lot to be found. There's a lot of history, but the canal, I can make a fire. I can roast hot dogs. There's a little store there that has beer. We can sit and have beer, lounge out on chairs. We can fish. We can detect. We can magnet fish. There's just so many things you can do there. So you guys are more than welcome to come join me anytime. You let me know and we'll make plans and have you out.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, like it's just an adventure. There's a lot of area that we haven't even touched. We only have dug basically a 20-foot long area.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
It's funny. You go out there. It's like us. We go out there prospecting. We're working all day, and you look and you go, "Oh, we only dug 3 feet down, maybe a 10-foot wide hole
Right.
all
Right.
day. That's all we've done. We've hardly touched anything."
Yeah, and like there's still more, but it's hard work, and it's not for everyone. Like in all fairness, to Andy, I brought Andy out. We metal detected, and then I brought him out to dig, and just like with prospecting, you could dig all day and get nothing.
Yeah.
So there's no difference in what we're doing where I'm at. So yeah, he comes out and he's digging and digging and digging. He's not finding anything. Finally, he looks at me and says, "I'm ready to detect." So I took him up top and we detected. But if you are into the adventure of it and you want to dig a little, or you could even go up, like walk one way or the other, detecting as far as you want. There's a lot of different adventures to have there. So you guys are welcome to come up.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Rudy
And,
wants to go
and
to
since you've, I bet like us with you, and even with Andy, since I figure you two live close. He's really close to Gettysburg. You're not too far.
Andy's like 45 minutes away, so we're close in the essence
in a half hour.
Half hour, yeah, okay. I like to say 45 minutes. It makes it seem like it's so long for me to get there.
Takes him a half hour, takes you 45 minutes.
No, I love going in. I go out with Andy and we'll do four-wheelers and stuff, like stuff I haven't done 20 years.
Nice.
But yeah, we live relatively close so that we can get together when we want. We belong to the same. He turned me on to a metal detecting club. I joined that club. So really good stuff.
Yeah, like Dano, Jesse, and I, we all live an hour and a half away from each other.
Yeah, that's a little distance.
Yeah, so our planning's a little more, sometimes more often than others, but I'm sure you have, since your channel had your channel, you've had more opportunities and invites to go places and out of state. Like we've been to New England to prospect on invitations, and California, and
Alabama,
down to the Carolinas and Georgia.
Carolina.
Without our channel, I don't think it would ever happen.
It's funny for me. It's the opposite.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
Everyone contacts me. Hey, I'll go out hunting with you at your place.
Like
I don't. Like you guys invited me. I know, like the guy Matt and Pete from Dig Stock. They take care of me and they invite me. But other than that, I don't get as many invites. It's usually everyone says, "Yeah, I'll come. Hey, you hunting this weekend?" So. Just a little different for me.
They want to go. They want to go where the good stuff is, and obviously you're finding the good stuff.
Yeah. It takes time though, and it's a grind.
Right. Oh yeah.
People will go through and they'll look at my collection and everything. And oh wow. That collection took a cumulative 15 years to get to that.
Right. I go to the white store here in Sylvania, outside of Toledo here. And you go in there, and they've got all these old relics from the 1812, or yeah,
War of 1812.
The War of 1812, cannonballs, bullets, coins, just tons of stuff. A little gold, but yeah, all in this local area they find it. We had a few battles around this area, so.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It's cool going in there and looking at their collections.
Oh,
we're in the overtime, Ed.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, I think I got to join my family at some point before that pizza gets cold, fellas.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah. How fast do you think we could get there?
At least an 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
Road trip. Run
for the hills. What's up?
Run for the hills. Hey, Ron Adams, how you doing, buddy? Great Sleuth Box. Runforthehills.com. Made by Ron, the Creek Critter, and the River Raider.
Love them both.
And not sponsored, just good products made by a good friend. Now, where's that button? There it is. Wow, yeah, time flies, Dustin. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. I really had a great time having you on and seeing all your treasure porn, and you've been a great guest.
If you haven't yet, to the audience, subscribe, please.
Yeah, GoPro Unlimited, just put the link out there for you.
Thank you.
Your YouTube channel.
Hit that subscribe button for our friend Dustin.
Well, there's Hit B Explorer. What's up?
Yep, Hit B.
Yeah. I just refreshed your channel, so well, you're up to 870 now. You got a
Oh, I
couple.
picked up a couple. Thanks, guys.
Now make it stick, friends. Make it stick. Watch a video, comment, make it stick.
Thank you, Ed.
And Dustin's a really good guy, and it's Sunday 7:30, right? For
Sundays at 7 p.m.
Oh, 7. Sorry.
Yeah, at 7 p.m. Lost Boy recovery every other Saturday. So not this or Sunday. So not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, we'll have a show.
They put on a really good show last week or last Sunday. They had Matt and Pete or Pete from Digstock. I want to watch it too, and I didn't get to it. Doggone it.
And if you join up the Facebook group, Prospect or Flash in your FAM Facebook group, you can post your events there and your.
Oh yeah.
I think I have been.
You have been, Dustin, and so has Andy. It's for all of you. Spam it. Well, respect it. It's your group. But it's for the Flash Fam to promote your channel, promote your videos, show your finds. Just share your adventures with all of
your events, right?
Yeah, your events. And that's goes for all of the Flash Fam, you know. You don't have to be someone with a channel. You could just be part of the Flash Fam and share your finds.
Absolutely. Thank you again, guys.
You're more than welcome. Enjoy your pizza.
Thank you.
And I hope to meet you someday.
We will.
Go prospecting, go metal detecting, something. Yes, sir.
We will. We absolutely.
Lost Boy's recovery says he lost his wrench. Poop.
Oh, you did. What? You had a wrench when you came on. What happened? Here.
Left them Mountaineer Mike too.
I'll change that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
So on that note, we should let our guest go so he can eat his pizza.
That's right. Before it gets cold, tastes like cardboard.
I'll go ahead and hit leave, and thank you guys so much.
Thanks for being here.
I look forward to meeting you guys in person.
Yes,
that'd be awesome.
God bless, guys. Thank you.
Take care, Dustin.
Right.
Thank you. Great show.
He got his wrench back there.
He's happy now.
Woohoo! Got it back. I don't know what happened, Andy. I know you had one when you were on the show. It's like, what the hell? I'm not blue. Where's my wrench? Not a Smurf. You're welcome, buddy. You're welcome, Andy. All of you, next week we're having a Southern prospector on, Justin from X4 Prospecting joining us. He's a fellow Dream Mat user. If you use any other medium in your sluices and dredges, that's all right. We love you too. But
another Dream Mat user. That user may be a Dream Mat.
And he's a prospector too. I know you've been wanting some prospectors on, Jesse. But you know, a lot of them are out in the mountains digging and looking for that gold. But you know, thank you all for joining us. We have the greatest community here on YouTube, and of course, yes, I'm biased. But the Treasure Fam in whole is an awesome community, and it's been great to cross the aisle into all the many appendages of that family. Thanks again, Dustin, if you're still listening. Everybody, thank you very much. Hope to see you next week for Tuesday Night Hangout Live. Until then, may you always have a flash in your pan.
You know what he's going to say next.
That's right, because it does happen. Maybe one day, too, we'll meet you on the river. Until then, everyone, good night. God bless. Love you all. We're out of here.
Night, everybody.
Taters.
Night,
Good night. Thank you, Mr. Lodak. JP.
This
Hello,
after
Gold.
party, yes.
Thank you, mate.
Boys recovery. Thanks
Brad.
for being here.
West. Mountaineer Michael. Thanks, Andy.
You got everybody. Randy Lewis.
Everybody. All of you.
All of you.
Toledo. Toodle-doo.